Hello, let's take a closer look at how to mainstream GBV risk mitigation into the implementation phase of the operations management cycle, also known as the program cycle. During the video, you will review GBV related considerations to apply in sector program implementation activities and consider how to include continuous monitoring and community-based feedback mechanisms to ensure implementation activities achieve the planned results. Let's assume we have mainstreamed GBV risk mitigation in the program assessment, analysis, and planning phases. What are some common GBV-related considerations to ensure that GBV is mainstreamed in program implementation activities? Remember to apply all GBV guiding principles and approaches to all program implementation activities. See the link to the minimum standards on GBV at the end of the video. Consult with women and girls for monitoring implementation. In consultation with GBV specialists, establish community-based strategies to safely monitor implementation activities. Also, arrange training on risk mitigation for sectors, including on safe handling of GBV disclosures. Conduct regular safety audits with the support of GBV specialists. Support facilitation of forums where women and girls can provide feedback on sectoral progress in a safe manner. What are some other GBV-related considerations? Involve women and other at-risk groups within the affected population in implementation activities. This promotes inclusion and empowerment. Undertake outreach activities to address gender and cultural norms to ensure that implementation activities are age, gender, and culturally sensitive. This strengthens participation and supports a do-no-harm approach. Continuously review community feedback against planning. And ensure that all UN and partner staff have signed a code of conduct and are aware of the zero tolerance policy against sexual exploitation and abuse. You may ask, which standards should you apply to mainstream GBV risk mitigation? And which reference points and tools should you use as guidance? Standards are considered non-negotiable. The key standards for you to apply would include the Interagency Minimum Standards on GBV in Emergencies Programming, Interagency Minimum Standards for Protection Mainstreaming from the Global Protection Cluster, also Sphere Standards. Refer to the Standard Operating Procedures, or SOPs, in place for your operation. For example, SOPs on GBV prevention, risk mitigation, and response, and technical sector SOPs that should include GBV references. Guidelines can be contextualized. Key guidelines to assist you with mainstreaming GBV risk mitigation include the IASC GBV Guidelines. See the section on essential actions for each sector. The Cash and Voucher Assistance and GBV Compendium to the IASC GBV Guidelines. The IASC Gender Handbook for Humanitarian Action. Also take a look at the UNHCR Emergency Handbook and see the section on GBV. Also, the UNHCR Gender Equality Toolkit is available. Adapt the GBV-related considerations to your context, and always take into account the rights, expressed needs, and identified resources of the target group of persons at risk of GBV. What are the essential actions to be implemented by each sector? Refer to the IASC GBV Guidelines from 2015 and see the section on essential actions and minimum commitments for emergency response. You can find a link at the end of the video. Key messages. Apply all GBV guiding principles and approaches to all program implementation activities. Active participation of women, girls, and other at-risk groups must be considered together with safety in consultations. Do no harm. As part of our Accountability to Affected People, or AAP, ensure feedback and complaint mechanisms are in place and adapt the program based on feedback. Ensure strict application of the Code of Conduct and adherence to the zero tolerance policy against sexual exploitation and abuse by all members of the workforce. Here are some additional resources to help you and your team mainstream GBV risk mitigation into the implementation phase of the operations management cycle.